You are not blowing accounts because the market is hard. You are blowing accounts because of you. And I know that's uncomfortable to hear. I know you didn't come here for that. You came here looking for a better strategy, a better setup, maybe something that finally makes everything click. But let me tell you something most people in this space will never say to your face. The market is not your problem. Your broker is not your problem. Your strategy is not your problem. You are. And until you accept that fully, honestly, without excuses, you will keep repeating the same cycle. You'll fund an account. You'll feel confident. You'll catch a few good trades. And then slowly, or sometimes all at once, you'll give it all back. Again, then what do? You switch strategies. You change time frames. You try a different market. Maybe you blame the volatility. Maybe you blame manipulation. Maybe you tell yourself, this system just doesn't work. But nothing actually changes because wherever you go, your habits go with you. And that is the real problem. Let me ask you something. How many strategies have you tried? 5, 10, 20? And yet, here you are, still searching, still frustrated, still watching your account go up and then straight back down. Here's the truth most people won't tell you. Most traders who fail are not stupid. They're not lazy. They're not unlucky. In fact, most of them are smart. They've studied charts. They understand support and resistance. They know indicators. They watched hours of content. They know exactly what they're supposed to do. And yet, they still lose. Why? Because knowing what to do and doing it under pressure are two completely different things. You can know that you should cut a losing trade. You've read it. You've heard it. You've seen it everywhere. But when you're sitting there, watching price move against you, your heart starts racing. You tell yourself, it'll come back. You move your stop loss. You hold longer than you should. Maybe you even add to the position. And just like that, a small loss turns into a disaster. That's not a strategy problem. That's a you problem. And I'm not saying that to attack you. I'm saying it because the moment you truly accept this is the moment everything can change. Let's break this down. Because if you keep blowing accounts, it's not random. There's a pattern. And that pattern comes from three things: the way you manage risk, the way you approach strategy, and the way you control your mind. If even one of those breaks, everything breaks. Let's start with the first one, money management. This is where most traders get it completely wrong. They think risk is about making more money. How much should I risk so I can make the most profit? That's the wrong question. The right question is, how much should I risk so I can stay in the game? Because here's the truth. If you don't survive, nothing else matters. I've seen traders blow accounts in a single day, not because their strategy was bad, but because they risked too much. They overtraded. They tried to recover losses quickly. That's not trading. That's gambling. And the market punishes that instantly. Your first job as a trader is not to make money. It's to stay alive. Because if your account is gone, you're out of the game. You can't learn. You can't improve. You can't get better. So you need to think differently. When you're uncertain, you go small. When the market is unclear, you step back. When things feel chaotic, you protect your capital. And only when everything is clear, only when you have real confidence, that's when you scale up. Most traders do the opposite. They lose a few trades. They get emotional, and then they trade bigger to make it back. That's how accounts die. Now, let's talk about the second mistake. Strategy, or more specifically, too many strategies. Most traders think more is better. More setups, more indicators, more systems. They collect strategies like trading cards. But here's what actually happens. More strategies create more confusion. More confusion creates hesitation. And hesitation leads to bad execution. You don't need 10 strategies. You need one edge, one setup, one pattern that you understand deeply, that you've seen hundreds of times, that you can execute without thinking. That is what mastery looks like, not complexity, simplicity, repetition, consistency, because the market doesn't reward variety. It rewards execution. Now we get to the most important part, and this is where most traders fail. mindset. Because even if you have good risk management, even if you have a solid strategy, if your mind is not under control, none of it matters. Let me paint you a picture. You see a perfect setup. Everything lines up. This is exactly what you've been waiting for. And what do? You hesitate. You wait. You second guess. And by the time you finally enter, the move is already gone. Or maybe this happens. You enter a trade. It goes in your favor. You're in profit. But then price pulls back slightly. And suddenly, you feel uncomfortable. You close the trade early. You take a small gain. And then price continues exactly where you expected. That's not bad strategy. That's fear. Fear of losing. Fear of being wrong. Fear of giving back profits. And fear will destroy every edge you have. Here's something you need to understand. You don't rise to the level of your strategy. You fall to the level of your discipline. Let that sink in, because it changes everything. Your strategy might be good, but if your discipline is weak, you will never see its full potential. You'll miss entries. You'll exit too early. You'll hold losers too long. And then you'll blame the system. But the system was never a problem. And I learned this the hard way. There was a time I thought I was good. I had experience. I had knowledge. I thought I understood the market. And then I hit a period where everything fell apart. Nothing worked. I was inconsistent. I started making emotional decisions, breaking my own rules, taking trades out of boredom, holding losses because my ego wouldn't let me be wrong, and cutting winners early because the profit felt good. And in that moment, I had to face the truth. It wasn't the market. It was me. And that realization was painful, but it was also the turning point. Because from that point forward, I stopped trying to become a smarter trader, and I started trying to become a more disciplined one. And that is the shift you need to make. Stop chasing better strategies. Stop looking for shortcuts. Stop thinking the next setup will fix everything. It won't. What will fix it is discipline, execution, consistency. So here's what you need to do. Protect your capital. Always. That comes first. Master one edge. Not 10, just one. And execute it consistently. And most importantly, train your mind, because the market will test you every single day. It will test your patience, your discipline, your emotions. It will push you to do the wrong thing at exactly the wrong time. And your job is to stay in control, because success in trading is not given to the smartest. It's not given to the most talented. It's not given to the ones with the best strategy. It's given to the ones who survive long enough to become consistent, to become disciplined, to become dangerous. So if you keep blowing accounts, it's not because you're incapable. It's not because you can't learn. It's because you haven't fixed the real problem yet. But the moment you do, the moment you take full responsibility, the moment you control your risk, simplify your approach, and master your behavior, that's when everything starts to change. And remember this, you don't lose because you're not smart enough. You lose because you're not disciplined enough. Fix that, and you stop blowing accounts. Fix that, and you finally start progressing. Fix that, and you give yourself a real chance to win. Stay in the game. That's the only way you get better. That's the only way you succeed. And that is the difference between traders who quit and traders who make it. Subscribe if you learned something.